Something about NASCAR right now just doesn't feel right. If you've been glued to every race weekend like I have, you can sense it building. This quiet tension that's slowly turning into something bigger. It's the kind of feeling where you just know things behind the scenes aren't lining up, and now it's starting to show where it matters most, on the track. This isn't just small drama either. It's the kind of situation that can shift momentum, impact results, and even change how an entire team approaches the rest of the season. And what makes it even crazier, everything is changing fast, sometimes within just hours. At the same time, there's another storyline unfolding that feels completely different. It highlights how NASCAR is evolving beyond just racing, bringing in fresh energy, attracting new fans, and stepping into a much bigger spotlight than before. So, yeah, right now we've got tension, unexpected decisions, and a cultural shift all happening at once. And trust me, the way these stories connect is something you don't want to miss. If you're someone who lives for the inside scoop of NASCAR, this is exactly the kind of moment that makes the sport so exciting. Now let's break down what's actually happening, because the situation surrounding Ryan Blaney is becoming impossible to ignore if you've been paying attention this season. After the race at Bristol, where Blaney was beaten by Ty Gibbs, the real story wasn't just the finish, it was what's been going wrong on pit road. In just the first 8 races, the number 12 team has lost a staggering 86 positions during pit stops. That's not just a rough stretch, that's a serious pattern. And in NASCAR, patterns like that can completely derail a season. Because of this, Team Penske decided it was time to make changes. Initially, they planned to replace crew members Land and Honeycutt with Patrick Gray from the number 21 car at Wood Brothers Racing. On paper, that move made sense, especially since both teams share a strong technical partnership, which usually makes transitions smooth. But then things took an unexpected turn. Only a few hours after announcing the change, plans shifted again. Patrick Gray won't be heading to Kansas after all, due to personal reasons confirmed by the team. That left them scrambling once more right before Kansas Speedway. Now instead, Graham Stoddard is stepping in. He's been working with the number 4 car at Front Row Motorsports alongside Noah Gragson, so he's no stranger to high-pressure situations. But jumping into a team that's already struggling on pit road, that's a whole different kind of challenge, and all eyes will be on how this plays out. And the chain reaction doesn't end there, it keeps unfolding. With Graham Stoddard shifting over, Tommy Bebby, who normally works with the number 51 car alongside Cody Ware, now steps in to fill that opening on the number 4 crew. At the same time, Honeycutt remains with the number 21 team at Wood Brothers, exactly as originally planned. So heading into Kansas, Ryan Blaney's crew has gone from a simple adjustment to a complete reshuffle. And the biggest question still hangs in the air: what happens next? There's no clear answer yet on whether Patrick Gray returns or if Stoddard holds on to the role long term. That decision has been pushed until after Kansas, and honestly, as a fan, you can't help but wonder, how does a team build any real consistency in a situation like this? Pit crews thrive on rhythm, trust, and perfect timing. You can't just keep swapping people in and out and expect everything to suddenly click. When you're already bleeding positions on pit road, this kind of instability could either solve the issue or make it spiral even further. Now shifting focus, because the next story highlights a completely different direction NASCAR is heading in. Cleetus McFarland is making serious moves, locking in a multi-year endorsement deal with Polaris. And this isn't just another sponsorship, it's a sign of motorsports merging with digital culture in a way we haven't really seen before in NASCAR. Cleetus has built an enormous audience, nearly 5 million subscribers on YouTube, centered around the Freedom Factory and his signature high-energy content. We're talking loud engines, wild burnouts, and events that feel more like full-blown festivals than traditional races. And now Polaris wants to be part of that momentum. It actually makes perfect sense. As Reed Wilson pointed out, they didn't want to stay on the sidelines. They wanted to jump right into what Cleetus is creating. On the competitive side, though, he's still finding his rhythm. He made his Truck Series debut at Daytona back in February and recently competed at Rockingham in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, finishing 32nd 6 laps behind. Not headline-grabbing results, but that's not really the point here, because what's coming next could be massive. He's scheduled to race at Talladega on April 25th, but it's still waiting on NASCAR approval for a superspeedway start. And if you know Talladega, you know that's no small step. That track demands serious experience, precision, and respect. So now all eyes are on that decision, which should come soon. Depending on what NASCAR decides, this could be a defining moment, not just for Cleetus, but for the kind of audience he's bringing into the sport. On the flip side, you've got a content creator carving out a real space in NASCAR, backed by a major brand and pulling in an entirely new audience. That's the sport right now. Intense pressure, constant unpredictability, and a clear evolution all happening at once. And heading into Kansas this weekend feels more important than it might seem at first glance. For Ryan Blaney, this could be a defining moment. Either the team finally gets their pit road issues under control, or the problem keeps holding them back race after race. And with Cleetus, we could be witnessing the early stages of something that reshapes how fans connect with NASCAR altogether. So yeah, both of these storylines deserve your attention. Now, speaking as someone who watches every single week, here's my honest take. What's happening with Blaney right now is tough to watch. Not because of a lack of talent, but because the execution around him just isn't there. This isn't on the driver, it's on the team. Losing 86 positions on pit road in just 8 races is the kind of issue that quietly derails a championship run long before the playoffs even begin. And all these sudden changes from Team Penske, they don't exactly inspire confidence yet. Bringing in Graham Stoddard might provide a short-term boost, but real pit crew chemistry takes time. It's built through repetition and trust, not overnight fixes. If they don't find stability soon, Blaney's performance is going to keep suffering, no matter how strong the car is. Now, on the other side, Cleetus McFarland's situation is honestly one of the most fascinating developments in NASCAR right now. His deal with Polaris shows that the sport is starting to recognize where the next generation of fans is coming from. Cleetus brings excitement, a huge audience, and a style that makes motorsports feel entertaining and approachable again, and that's valuable. But let's be real about it. He's still developing as a driver. Finishing 32nd and running laps down proves just how tough the competition is at this level. And if NASCAR gives him the green light to race at Talladega, that's going to be a major test. That track demands precision and experience. You don't just figure it out as you go. When you step back, these two stories really highlight both sides of NASCAR today. On one side, elite teams are struggling with execution. On the other, new personalities are bringing fresh energy and attention to the sport. If those two worlds can come together, where performance and personality are both strong, NASCAR is set up for a really exciting future. And if you're into NASCAR like this, not just the results, but everything happening behind the scenes, make sure to like, drop your thoughts, and subscribe to NASCAR Nation Report. It's a growing channel, pushing toward 100 subscribers, and if you want real, unfiltered NASCAR talk every week, you're in the right place. Because honestly, heading into Kansas, this feels like one of those weekends where everything could shift. On one side, Ryan Blaney and Team Penske are trying to solve a serious pit road problem after losing 86 positions across 8 races, now dealing with yet another last-minute crew adjustment with Graham Stoddard stepping in. At the same time, you've got Cleetus McFarland injecting a completely different kind of energy into NASCAR. With that multi-year partnership with Polaris, he's not just stepping into the sport, he's bringing a whole new vibe and audience with him, and if he gets the green light to race at Talladega Superspeedway, that could turn into a massive moment, not just for him personally, but for NASCAR as a whole. So right now, you've got two very different storylines unfolding side by side. One is all about pressure, performance, and a team trying to fix critical issues. The other is about growth, fresh attention, and a new wave of fans entering the sport. And that contrast is exactly what makes this moment so exciting. Because heading into the next race, it really feels like anything could shift,